Welcome, fellow degenerates, to another episode of Happy Horror Critic. And today, I want to take a look at a little low-budget film called Terrifier. Now, right up front, I'm going to say that I'm not going to be able to show a whole lot of screenshots from the movie here. This movie has a lot of shocking moments and gore in it that I'm sure the YouTube censors wouldn't care to be shown. So, bear with me on this. It's going to be sparse, but it's worth it. This film is one that I don't have much personal history with, but I kept hearing it mentioned on the subreddit online, and I decided to take a look. I love it. It's amazing. Probably the best slasher movie I've seen since Behind the Mask. Terrifier feels like it's an homage to a low-budget slasher from the 70s or 80s. It really has an independent and gritty look to it. I don't know if it's intentional or not, or if it just accomplishes this by having a small budget. But either way, it reminds me a lot of the old grimy, gritty slashers like Maniac or Pieces. Terrifier is, without a doubt, one of the most dirty and gross-feeling horror movies I've seen in a long, long time. Art the Clown, the main villain, comes originally from a short titled The Ninth Circle by Damien Leone. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Anyway, it was then expanded into a short film called Terrifier. Then, the short film Terrifier was rolled into a larger anthology film called All Hallows Eve, where Art the Clown played a big role. Leone then set his sights on a full movie featuring Art, which is where this film comes from. Terrifier was made on a micro-budget of about $100,000 in 2016. And while it feels and looks low budget, in my opinion, that only adds to the gritty and dark feeling of the movie itself. Art is terrifying, flat out. I'm not one who is scared of clowns. I personally don't understand the fear of clowns themselves, but be damned if I didn't get a shiver whenever I see his big evil grin. Art kind of looks like what would happen if you took the clown version of the Joker and you threw him into the pod from The Fly with Lady Gaga and set it to monochrome colors. The person who plays Art the Clown, David Howard Thornton, has previous experience as a mime, and he is able to give an amazing performance as Art because of this experience. Art absolutely delights in torturing everyone around him, and he doesn't do it just for the kills, but he genuinely seems to enjoy scaring and terrifying everybody around him. Especially the two main girls, who unfortunately for them happen to cross his path on Halloween night. Art gives Tim Curry a run for his money in the creepy clown micro-genre. One thing that I found interesting about this movie is that Art actually picks up and uses a gun. Now, sometimes the line between a gritty action movie and a slasher movie is pretty thin, and sometimes the only thing that really separates the two is using a gun, like Death Wish or No Country for Old Men, for example. But Art the Clown is the only example of a slasher villain I can think that actually uses a gun and shoots someone with it. Michael Myers picks up a gun in Halloween 4, but he only uses it to impale someone with, which is hilarious and in character for Michael. I think Mick from Wolf Creek might use a gun, but I've always thought of Wolf Creek as more of kind of an action horror instead of just straight horror. Especially since you get all the car chase scenes of him running somebody down in his big semi. Anyway, yes, Art uses a gun, and he uses it in a way that's genuinely intense and suspenseful. And that's quite a feat when the item you're holding is as impersonal as a gun. Anyway, Terrifier is a wonderful homage to old school, low budget, grimy slashers of the 70s and 80s, and I loved every minute of watching it. There's no overly complex story here. There's no real character growth. It's just people running from this twisted ass mime. There's a sequel in production, and while I'm sure it would probably be finished now if not for COVID, keep an eye out for Terrifier 2. It's supposed to be coming soon. This is a good watch on a Halloween night, but probably not if you have sensitive viewers with you, because there's a couple of scenes that I even had to turn my head for a minute to finish.